What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if this is your first time on the channel, be sure and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified anytime something comes up. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of tying up some loose ends that we have on the wiring. I'm going to be working by myself today, so the other guys are going to get a week off. Let them spend time with their families. I know Joey has a sick one at home and is not feeling too great, so he's going to stay at home. Jacob has just recently had a newborn baby, so he's going to stay at home, and we might be doing some remote work with him. So he's got some ground wire that I took to him with some eyelets, and what we may do is he may give me a call here in a little bit, and I'm going to go around the car figuring out how long each ground lead needs to be, and then he's gonna just make it there at his house so that he's kind of working but also being at home with family. So it's gonna be a busy day. Like I said, we're gonna be just cleaning up the wiring mess in here. The only thing that I'm gonna have to wire today is gonna be these LED lights. Right now they come out from right here and it's kind of a mess looking, so we're gonna fix this, make it look a little better. We're gonna have the wire come through from in there. Gonna loop it all the way through with that harness to the back, and then bring it up to this light, which comes down to right here. We'll tie that into there, and then this will go through this hole and down into where we have this tail light, and then those will get their power from the brake light switch, which is this wire here, and it runs through here. I know it's a jumbled mess, but we've got it all planned out. It's gonna work great once we get it done. Everything's gonna be nice and organized, but that's kind of what I'm gonna do today, and then also tidy up all of these. I'm gonna tidy these up, kind of bunch them up, put them, I might put them in a loom so that they're kind of hidden from anything that might come through the engine bay here. And then back behind this panel, I'm gonna wrap all these up and then make it look all nice and neat, put it up out of the way, and then through for all these wires here, they're gonna be loomed up and nice and tidy. Go back through here. I'm gonna start, I've got some floor hooks that I'm gonna put these harnesses in and kind of screw them into the floor so that they don't move around and get kicked and all that. So we've got that to do. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing today, is getting all that tidied up. If we have time today, what I may do is pull the heads off the engine, pull the front cover off, and I may go ahead and finish the engine. I went out yesterday and bought some ARP head bolts for it. I decided to go with bolts because from what I've been reading, the studs, if you put head studs in the LS in certain chassis, it makes it harder to pull the heads out. Like if you have an issue at the track, it makes it harder to pull the heads off without actually dropping the engine or separating it from the car. So we went with head bolts for that reason. So in case we do have some issue at the track and we're having to pull a head off, we don't run into those issues. We can just pull the bolts, pull the head off, and we're good. So I might get into that. I also went out and bought a Melling high volume, high pressure oil pump. That's another thing that I was waiting on to put the engine back together, but now that we have that, we can probably go ahead and at least do those few things there, and then put the rocker arms back in, lifters, push rods, get this basically ready to go once it's time to bolt the transmission up and all that. So I'm gonna stop ranting now and we're gonna move into it. We just got a lot going on and I'm excited to share it with you guys. Obviously we have a lot to do, but we are getting closer and closer to being done and being at that deadline, because we have signed up for all 5 rounds of clutch kickers. First round is March 12th through 14th, so today is the 31st of January, so technically we only have about 3 more weeks to get this thing done and get a test day in before clutch kickers. So we have a lot to do, so I'm gonna kind of tie up some loose ends today and we're gonna move on. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So the GoPro died probably about 30 minutes into me figuring out how I was going to do the wiring and straighten it up. But I have now been in this probably for about 2 hours now, and I have got a lot done, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So we mosey on over here to this lovely panel again. As you remember, there were wires everywhere through here. So I had to sit there and figure out how I was going to loop all these wires together without them being tangled. I was afraid from the beginning that whenever we hooked this up first that there were going to be some wires under there that we were going to have to take loose in order to unwind them where they're tangled to each other. So I did have to take these wires off the board, feed them back through the board, and then untangle them all. I laid them all out and then put them back in there. But as you can see, those are all of our wires. I've gone through and I have zip tied each one of them in a roll the best I could, and then zip tied them together. And then all of the wires that go from the firewall over to this side, I've attached to the firewall and then brought them up. These will be hidden by the dash, so I don't really have to worry a whole lot about those. This is the kill switch, which will be in the dash as well, so I won't know how much we need there until we get that part done. But everything is fastened, and what I did was all the wires that go to the back, I have basically run them with the power wire through here and just kind of bunched them all up. Now we're moving into the rear section, which I haven't done, but what I'm going to probably do is, since they split here, I'm going to add hooks that will kind of mount these to the side here and keep those up out of the way. But I've just been zip tying every 6 inches or so to just try and keep them all together and look as nice as possible. You can see all the broken zip ties from where I've cut them. I got the taillight ran for the LED strip, ran it through there and out through here and up through where the factory trunk light would go. So he's got plenty of lead there to work with. Man, this is come a long way here in the last couple hours, and it's looking much neater in there, and I'm super excited for the final result.
What's up?
What up, dude? I was
grounds.
just telling the viewers what I had you doing over there. You want to explain?
COVID special, man. We couldn't work on the car today, so we're trying to make good headway anyways of making the grounds. Tyler and I have been FaceTiming. He's been doing the measuring on the car, and I've been doing the measuring on my little table here. And basically what we're doing is we're cutting all of the grounds for each individual electrical component on the car. And I'm going ahead and cutting them to length, and then taking the connections and soldering them. And then that way, that's just all the more done whenever we do get another day on the car. At this time, it's pretty much getting down to the nitty gritty. We only have a few really good solid work days left, and we got a lot to do. The engine's still on a motor stand, and the wiring's not all the way completed. We're really close here, but we got several steps to do. We're chugging. We're doing the thing. We got a lot of momentum. I had a brand new baby this week. She's so cute. She's the little perfect little thing. But anyways, just a few speed bumps this week, but we're still making good headway anyway. Today's my wife's birthday, and I'm out in the garage wiring grounds. We're going to get her done, though, man. 2021 season for Tyler Berry Drifting is going to be solid.
I'm excited.
For sure.
So show us your little setup you got there.
Do what?
Show us your little setup you got there.
Man, she's pretty simple. She's a nice big dog. Goes to 900 degrees there. I'm just about to make this connection. You can see I've got all of the wires tied together for the focus. Maybe not. Now what I'm going to do is just dabble solder all in there and make sure that is never crimped, but even more solid than that. And heating it up to 900 degrees will do it every time. So basically what I've done is I made notes here, excuse my dirty handwriting, of what we're going to do. And Howard did all the measurements, and I'm just building it almost kind of like a harness so that at some point it'll basically be plug and play. So it'll be a lot of fun. I wish I could give you guys a better view of what's going on. Unfortunately, I only have two hands. I already have to make do with crazy stuff.
This is exactly why I'm not doing the soldering, because it takes so much time.
Well, it does take time, but man, it's so worth it to know that your joints are never going to be an issue.
Yeah.
As far as troubleshooting later, I suspect us putting an American engine in a BMW, we're going to have a few problems to work out at first, and I want to make sure that wiring can be crossed off of the list to where we have less things to chase. We're going to have not very long to get this car ready once we have it running. It's going to have to be running, tuned, and race ready within about 3 weeks. So the less points of interest we have to chase down a potential problem, the better. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yep. And I was talking a little bit ago about how much longer we have. We literally have 3 weeks until I need to be testing.
I know, it's so bad. But I dream about it every night. It's crazy. You'd think this was my own build as much as I think about it and put thought into what we do and the effort and the order in which we do it. It's going to be a solid year this year for sure. We're going to have plenty of power. Hopefully it'll be nice and reliable. We're just not going to have to worry about any craziness. I'm going to be able to go out there and focus on lines and things that pros should be focusing on rather than if our engine's going to blow up.
Yep.
Sorry, BMW. Oh.
I'm going to set Jacob down over here and we're just going to talk while we work, but the next thing on my list is mounting this panel and running this ribbon down to the ARC8000 down there and kind of hide everything and make it look nice. So that's what I'm going to focus on now.
So I was telling Tyler, or actually we were talking about it earlier, we were talking about how to do these grounds, and one thing that we kind of uniquely decided on was grounding the right front headlight, the water pump, and the fan all together on the same point. This was the connection that I was just making a minute ago. This is what it looks like when you solder your connections. I don't know if that'll focus in. Probably not. Sorry, COVID's screwing us. But anyways, so the reason why I was thinking that this would be unique is because it will help us later in trying to understand what a problem might be. So I was telling Tyler, if we wire it this way, for instance, if the left front headlight stops working randomly, all by itself, just that headlight, then we'll know that it was it'd be the right front because we're all doing this together. My bad. Excuse me. So right front headlight, if the right front headlight stops working altogether, just by itself, then if we have them grounded with the right front headlight with the fan and the water pump together, if the fan and the water pump work, then we know it's not a ground issue. At that point, we would know that it would have to be a hot issue or actually in the headlight itself. So it just kind of helps really cut down your diagnostic time when something else goes wrong. Same way if all of a sudden 3 things that you have start not working at the same time, the right front headlight, the fan, and the water pump all stop working all at once, immediately to go straight to a ground issue because you remember that they were all grounded together. So that's the kind of mindset that we're kind of staying in on wiring this car to where hopefully that we never have issues, but it's not a perfect world, and at the end of the day, we're all new and doing this to the best of our knowledge, but at the end of the day, we expect problems and we want to make them easier to find on race day. That way we can make up for lost time and get back out there. Sometimes a competition 5 is a long time and sometimes 5 minutes ain't nearly enough. But when you do things like this, it really helps cut the time in half if you have an issue during a competition day.
Yeah, we are definitely focusing on more practical things, especially since we're doing things from ground up. Like, we can wire this thing however we want, like whatever makes the most sense to us when it comes time to fixing it, it's gonna be so much easier for us to diagnose it whenever something's
That's the
wrong.
thing.
And this thing, looking inside here, it's so clean now.
Show them your wiring, man.
I
Show
am.
them how clean it is.
I've already showed him once, but golly, it's
Oh my gosh. You showed me that earlier and I was like, girl, that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. That's what I would have done if I was there. You made me proud.
sitting here. It's just like now I see we're so much closer than we were when we first started.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you got solder in my car.
What? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know it doesn't stick to anything, right?
Oh, it's stuck to the floor.
No, dude, you can just blow it right away. Just blow it. Scratch it.
No. I think I am going to call it a day. I just spent the last 30 to 45 minutes running the ribbon from that ARC panel down the cage and then up to where it plugs in on the actual fuse box. So when you go to get in the car, step in. And now we have a touch panel. And I've already set it up to where whenever you go to start the car, so ignition, fuel, water pump, fan, all that, once all of it's on, start, and then once you let off, the starter will stop. Once you get done driving the car and you want to turn everything off, you just hit off on the ignition and everything will turn off until you turn it back on. So I thought that was a pretty cool feature. But the ribbon, it says to use electrical tape to wrap it around the cage. So you can see that I've got electrical tape on the ribbon, and then I've got those clips over there. The white clips are what's holding the ribbon until it gets down to the cage. Goes down through the cage. Can't even see it from here. And then down to the anti-intrusion bar, where I've got it wrapped up on itself, and then it comes out to the board here. You're probably not even gonna be able to see that tape once it's all said and done, so it looks crappy from in here, but you'll never know that it's there. Unfortunately, we did not get to the engine part today. We did get a lot of stuff done. It was a very productive day, got a lot of stuff cleaned up, and what I'm gonna do is probably one day this week when I get home from work, I'm just gonna start working on the engine and get it all ready so that it's done. I still do want to paint some of the covers, so maybe I can do that as well this week. And then next weekend, everybody will come over and we will tackle the rest of this stuff. I think we're gonna finish all the fuel lines and get all that routed so that once we set the motor in, it's all ready to go. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure and like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified anytime something comes up on the channel. And we will see you guys next time. See you.